Well, I'm Chris Matthews. You know me from Hardball and the Chris Matthews Show. And here I am talking about my big new book, Tipping the Gipper, When Politics Worked. And I want to talk now about some of the examples I draw in the book about how this system of American government, the one we invented back in 1776, really does work. I think the real advantage I had in writing this book is the reason I wrote it. I was there. I mean, I've had all these years in politics. I'm thinking 15 years in politics, working inside as a presidential speechwriter and then as the top aide to Tip O'Neill. And it's the only real material I have that's real firsthand. I mean, I can bring it to the voter, bring it to the reader, who's also a voter, and they can learn from my personal experience. And it's what I've seen. And if somebody said, does politics work? I'd say, yes, it has in my case. I've seen it work. And I've seen the public vote, and the politicians respond to the vote, and do the best they can. And without a lot of Mickey Mouse. And I've seen it. And it's also the best story I've come across in politics is the one I was actually there for. I say in the book, I was there. I was there every day when Tip O'Neill would come back from arguing with Reagan at the White House, complaining about how they were fighting. And they'd always tell me about how it was working. And I would watch and work with them. I had a job to do too. I was there when Jimmy Carter lost to Ronald Reagan. I read about that in the book. Being on the plane with him as we got the word that we were going to lose the election by 10 points in 1980, flying back from Seattle at the middle of the night and knowing that we're going to face defeat and realizing that Ronald Reagan is one hell of a politician and extremely popular. And then being with Tip through all those months when he was getting, as he put it, the stuff wailed out of him. And being through that and then seeing him win in 1982 and weather the storm in 84. And go on to look pretty darn good at the end, end up with a very high approval rating at the end, 63% or something, job approval. And it's vintage political storytelling, too, I think. If this book isn't entertaining, I'll be surprised. I mean, I think people are going to say, I can't believe these characters and how they behave behind the scenes and how they talk about each other and how it really works. I mean, I have a lot of my, what I call my clean tricks in there, the demonstrations I organized and at the White House and things like that at 4 o'clock in the morning and some of the other stuff I organized behind the scenes. And my favorite line from Tip all those years was what he'd say to me, is this one of yours? Which always made me happy because he was trying to figure out what I was up to. So I've been through all of it, and I wanted to share the best part of my political life with the reader.